talking ice. Me. Let's go. Bitches could never. Let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Think you. You're not even a pro.
Last week, the New York drill scene had a debutante moment as Ice Spice finally released her highly anticipated first studio album. The 10-track project clocked in at under 25 minutes, with mixed reviews from major publications ranging from poor to surprisingly okay. Amid album rollouts from female rap's biggest and emerging stars, Ice Spice and her supposed mediocrity is a predominant talking point once again.
Last trend that I really love from the Y2K era is tramp stamps.
If Ice Spice, I can see where people get pissed because they're inundated with Ice Spice and they think that's all hip hop has to offer, right?
Like it's like, you know, like when I first heard Munch and everything.
Yeah.
I love the song. I love the beat and everything. And then I was gonna, I was like, you know, like doing the remix and everything.
They said you did a verse, right?
I hope that the Munchkins take away some confidence from this album. Like that's the main takeaway.
Starting with the high moments, the strongest element of Y2K is the production team and selection of beats. According to her July 2024 cover story for Rolling Stone, Ice Spice met producer Riot at Purchase College, a state university of New York. The two initially formed a friendship, and once they realized they were both into music, they started working together exclusively. Currently, Ice Spice and Riot are rap's most recognizable rapper-producer peer, in a similar vein of Metro Boomin and Future, or 40 and Drake in the early 2010s. Riot's producer tag, Stop Playing With Them Riot, can be heard in all of Ice Spice's music. There's been a lot of speculation about their personal relationship, with Stan Twitter jokingly referring to them as the Nicki Minaj and Safari 2.0. Minaj notoriously underplayed her romantic relationship with Safari, and for a while he was seen just as her hype man, despite the two dating for more than a decade. Riot is a Bronx native and the son of Hot 97's DJ Enough. It's an industry relationship he doesn't hide, but doesn't readily talk about, wanting to pour to success independently, and also the endless discourse around industry plans in the music business. The connection can provide an unwanted deep dive into Ice Spice's success and the music executives behind the scenes. From an interview in 2022 with Finals Blog, speaking on his production for Ice Spice's Name of Love and No Clarity, he noted, "I like having sounds that can mesh together well. Sharp hi-hats, but I space them out. I space out the rhythm. I don't really like using, I'm not gonna say the traditional drill drums, because I have influences from that too, but I try and keep my clean, sharp sound that cuts through speakers, cuts through a phone, cuts through a laptop, and match that with a nice sample or an original melody I made, but I always make sure the drums are carrying the track." Riot is the primary producer in Y2K, with his credits appearing on every track, but there are some notable producers like OG Volta, who worked with Playboi Carti, most recently on tracks 2024 and Backrooms. Another noticeable producer is Synthetic, who worked on Lil Uzi Vert's Jersey Club hit Just Wanna Rock. His credits can be found on Plenty Sun and Travis Scott assisted Osh. Trap, which has had some low moments in recent years with a lot of artists sounding the same, is still rap's preferred subgenre, with Y2K incorporating a fusion between drill beats and trap elements. Papa, the third track on the album, is a good example of this. In order, the best produced songs from the album are Did It First. It encompasses Ice Spice sound perfectly, which is sample heavy drill and that Jersey Club influence. BB Bell, which just sounds like a classic Riot Ice Spice song. Thank You the Shit, which is great, but also a bent knockoff. Going into the more trap-heavy influences, there's Papa, Plenty Sun, Unpacking, Osh. Gimme a Light is keeping up with the trend of rappers having these really big samples on their projects, but not entirely reworking the sample well. And then finally, Fatba and TTYL to close out 9 and 10.
She made a song that, and I'm not only just saying it, whatever, but I've heard, I'm like, this kind of remind me of like the type of tempo and vibe that Bent was on.
What originated in Chicago with rapper Chief Keef and producer Young Chop has expanded into a subgenre that refuses to die down. While Chief Keef struggled with his identity and place in hip-hop after his initial commercial success, drill kept progressing without him. First scratch, the UK had the throne with acts like Digga D, Heady One, and the rap collective 6-7, but then Brooklyn rapper Pop Smoke bursts onto the scene with Welcome to the Party, and his debut mixtape Meet the Woo that shifts the subgenre again and squarely brings the throne to New York. Ice Spice is one of the many faces of New York's diverse drill scene, with newcomers like Cash Cobain, Kyle Rich, and Jen Carter right on her heels.
Hi, my name is Ice Spice. I'm from New York. Even when I'm not posted, my page they stalk.
just like you'd be trained in a craft as, you know, a chef or a news reporter, you're trained as a griot. I mean, it's not just anybody can do it.
Right, right. So you start learning to be griot at a very early age.
Many have asserted that Ice would never have gotten this far in her career if she weren't light-skinned. With each new milestone she ticks off, you'll find folks tagging other female rappers of darker complexions in her comment section, championing their talent and arguing that they deserve Ice's level of success more than she does. I've seen those opinions, says Ice. I feel like that's not something personal to me. I feel like that's been the conversation for generations and forever, since the beginning of time. Caitlin McNabb for Team Vogue. Ice Spice benefits from colorism and featureism. Using the Merriam-Webster dictionary, colorism is prejudice or discrimination, especially within a racial or ethnic group, favoring people with lighter skin over those with darker skin. Featureism is a similar discrimination where Eurocentrism is the preferred mode in beauty standards over Afrocentric physicalities. Eurocentrism is the superiority complex of the global north. Pretty much, white is all right. Hip-hop culture is a black and brown liberation movement, unfortunately still under the gaze of white supremacist ideology. That ideology seeps its way into the culture through misogynoir, queerphobia, transphobia, and other discriminatory practices and systems. Ice Spice is acutely aware of how colorism and featureism benefits her rap career, and doesn't care. Like most popular commercial rappers, she's not reading radical liberation theory and is solely focused on her capitalist pursuits. Conversations about Ice's success in the music industry under the lens of colorism and featureism should continue, but the buck doesn't stop at her. It's rather remarkable how Cardi B has maneuvered her way out of such criticism when she and Ice Spice have similar come-ups. Both light-skinned Bronx rappers gained rapid commercial success and accolades off a viral hit that was mediocre rapping. Cardi B, now a polished performer and artist, but that's taken years in the making, supported by a record label that wants a return on their investment. Even her claims to blackness are still a contested topic. Similar colorism critiques can be pointed at Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat, Sweetie, and Lotto, whose first stage name was a colorist slur. Ice Spice is an active and aware participant in colorism and featureism, but still faces misogynist abuse from the culture. This dichotomy highlights how insidious these systems are, with no one easy fix. The complaints on her rapping ability are complicated considering the rise of mumble rap in the 2010s. Playboy Cardi can hop on a Camila Cabello song in 2024 and say gibberish with no widespread backlash and abuse from rap fans, but let Ice Spice rap she a baddie with her baddie friend, and it's the worst thing that's ever happened to the culture.
Came up out the hood, yeah, I got super lit. Diamonds keep on dancing, got a stupid wrist.
You gave me you
The lowest moments in Y2K are certainly Ice Spice's lyricism. The critique is somewhat ironic, bearing in mind Ice Spice did attempt to improve lyrically on the album, however her efforts were still underwhelming. The most lyrical track is the intro Fat Butt. The Nicki Minaj influence is so glaring here, with the flow and even music video which reminds you of Minaj's old freestyle DVDs. One can assume Fat Butt has to be an ode to somewhat Nicki Minaj, like Doja Cat's Get Into It. You have bars like Never Lucky I'm Blessed, Queen Said I'm the Princess, and Soda Half a Million on a Mixtape, all retwists of Minaj's iconic verses. Ice Spice keeps the scat fetish allegations alive with numerous poop references. The worst is I'm Miss Poopy but I Never Smell, grrah, the chorus for BB Bell. Obviously Ice Spice is referring to herself as the or is, but these poop reference lines don't land effectively and just come off cringe. There are some cute and witty moments like bitch stay on my Pauly D, send them home like cabs here. This refers to the memorable American reality TV show Jersey Shore. On Papa she raps that bitch shit, she get poked in, tell her drop a pin, we ain't bowling, which is bars. Ice Spice implements homophones to say she'll get the location pin of her op, and she's not talking about pins as the ones you'll find while bowling. The disses at Cardi B on BB Bell are good, and she does incorporate a lot of New York slang, adding a more personal touch to the album. A lot of different flows and voice changes too on the album that she doesn't execute that well, and is slightly mooching off Pierre's cadences, most notably Chief Keef, and maybe even the Brooklyn drill group 41. The track Papa sounds amazing, and Ice Spice's best attempt rapping in a lower vocal register, but where do you draw the line between a Chief Keef influence and simply biting his whole flow? On Gimme a Light, she's so loud it sounds like she's screaming in the booth while recording. Lastly, the album doesn't sound Y2K at all, a feat rapper JT was able to accomplish with her debut mixtape City Cinderella. The album's messaging and core meaning are lackluster, and for a debut studio album lacks grit. The Griots awards Y2K a 6.5 out of 10 rating, with the brief tracklist and lyricism the album's significant faults.
He has another John Galliano for Dior look, satin kind of lingerie set with black piping, black lace, very girly, kind of very Lindsay Lohan and Mean Girls, that kind of vibe.
The Y2K trend that I'm obsessed with is Ed Hardy. Is this Ed Hardy? This is Ed Hardy.
Why?
Because it's and also I just saw a lot of like bad wearing it when I was growing up in the Y2K era.
Ice Spice started her rollout for Y2K rather early, releasing Thank You the in late January of 2024. It was a rough start with her Spotify numbers steadily declining since 2023. The missteps were the singles released early on, with her team choosing the weakest songs on the album. Giving a Light was an immediate no from the audience, and Fatbot came after leaked text messages exposing her tense working relationship with Nicki Minaj. She no longer had the support of the Barbs, a fan base that is very strategic about their buying and streaming power in the rap market. When she finally shared the cover art for Y2K, it got worse. From the color palette to the graphics to the setting, it was confusing. Also surrounded by trash again, which might have been foreshadowing for the album's composition. Then there was the PR stunt for the fourth single, Did It First, with Central C, which came off as a moment of desperation rather than good marketing. The fashion moments were a bit underwhelming too, with her Rolling Stone cover shoot the most on theme. Rapper Flo Milli's Y2K aesthetic is arguably more bona fide and consistent, with early chart predictions already pointing to lower sales. Her tiara as People's Princess has tipped. Regardless, the album is still enjoyable, a short mood playlist that doesn't need critical listening and is okay to exist in rap's diverse ecosystem.
My name is Aaron and she talks.